They say car is more than just a metal and rubber, it's an escape. But when the engine is humming and the road is open, there's one thing that can absolutely kill the vibe: bad audio. My Corolla finally looked the part on the outside, but the second I turned that dial, the illusion shattered. It sounded thin, flat, and honestly tired. I didn't want a trunk rattler that neighbors could hear 3 blocks away. I wanted a studio on wheels. Today, we are gutting the factory junk and giving this OEM Plus build the voice it finally deserves. Every time I stepped out of this car, I loved the way it looked. But inside, it felt like a 2010 all over again. I've always been a fan of brands like Focal, but here's the thing. You can't really hear a spec sheet. Audio is personal, it was time to stop scrolling through forums, get out of the couch, and actually go listen to some hardware. I spent the morning at the local audio shop and I told them straight up, I'm not looking for a bass thumper, I want an acoustic experience. I want to hear the texture in the vocals and the sharp snap of snare drum. We landed on a split setup to nail that OEM Plus vision. Hertz for the front components, their crossover and silk dome tweeters handle those high crisp frequency without being tinny. Then for the rear, we went with Infinity. They have this incredible ability to fill the cabin with mid-bass depth without needing a massive subwoofer taking up my trunk space. It's a balanced soundstage designed for the driver, not for the neighbors. Look at the factory speakers. It's basically paper and a magnet size of a coin. Comparing this to Hertz unit is like comparing a toy to a professional tool. We had to use a custom spacer here because the new magnets are so deep that they would hit the window glass otherwise. Now I know the audiophiles in the comment section are gonna go crazy. Like, why didn't you damn the doors? Look, trust the process. This car is going for a full window out repaint very soon. The doors are going to be stripped. It makes no sense to apply expensive damping sheets now just to heat gun them off in 2 weeks. We did a quick hit on the tweeters to stop rattling, but the soundproofing happens later. If the front doors were an easy win, the rear tray was the final boss. I watched every tutorial, but nothing prepares you for a 2010 Corolla. You had to gut out the entire seat, the entire back, the rest, C-pillar off, the whole deck. It's a literal puzzle. Then the universe humbled us. The factory mounting holes didn't match the Infinity speakers at all. We tried every adapter, but in the end, the boys and I had to get the drill out and make our own path. Since the paint shop isn't touching the interior metal, we went ahead and did a full damping on the rear tray. The third test alone tells the story. No more vibration, just pure audio. Oh right, and I totally forgot, for the head unit, I went with the Pioneer 6.8 inch. Now, I know you guys will ask me why not a 10-inch Tesla screen, because those look like an iPad was glued to the dash and it doesn't really give that feel. It kind of ruins the lines. The later higher trim Corollas had a screen almost the exact size. Now this looks factory. The wiring was a big headache. but we used a proper harness to keep it clean. We also finally wired the rear camera. We tucked the wires through the headliner for the clean look. No exposed cables, no mess, just a snug, perfect fit. I almost feel bad for my ears looking at this. Cones were dry rotted and blown. I was literally listening to distorted vapor. Now, I really want to let you guys hear the full range of the Hertz and Infinity setup right here. But I ran into a massive headache with copyright-free library that I usually use. None of it was doing the clarity of the system justice, and I did want to give you compressed version of the truth. And I'm really sorry I couldn't get a clean copyright-safe audio test recorded in time for the edit. But I didn't want you to take my word for it. I actually uploaded a reel just now so that you guys can go ahead and listen to the audio, and it's not a copyright music, and the link is in the description. If you want to hear what that studio sounds like, go ahead and check it out. It's night and day. The vocals are crisp, the bass is tight, and the car finally feels premium. This wasn't just a mod, it was a total reset. Now the interior feels like a 2026, but the outside is still telling the old story. Next episode, we are doing something that you guys have been waiting for months. We are facelifting the car forever. It's facelift time. See you then. Peace.